Yo, it's your boy Joe.
It's your boy Greg. We the co-pilots from coast to coast. We do the most. So what's your flight? Whatever it is, we got you covered.
Yeah, man. And today we got a dope show head for you guys. And we ain't gonna waste a lot of y'all time, man. So how you feeling, Greg?
Hey man, I can't complain, man. Everything good, man. Got to chill with the family this weekend, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'm here, so
Yeah, man. So, we're gonna get right into the show today, man. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. And first thing we're gonna talk about tonight, we're gonna talk about the Shakur Stevens fight, man. And like I said, for me, when I think about the Shakur Stevens fight, um, I think about the fact that this guy, man, he actually, he did his thing, man. And I was impressed with Shakur Stevenson because, you know, there's been a thing out there about him saying that, he, had boring fights. And I don't think he had a boring fight this time. I don't really honestly think he had a boring fight. I thought the fight was good. We got to see Shakur Stevenson uh show some resilience after he took a vicious hit and he stayed hold his ground. So I thought, I was impressed with Stewart, and I think, for me, he showed me something that he didn't show me before, and he showed me he got some grit, and I think that says a lot.
um, I always enjoy watching the fight or whatnot, man. It's like I was saying before, man. And man, you had a conversation about this before. And you even pointed this out. You pointed this out, Show the Biz pointed this out. It's all about the matchup. Matchups make great fights. And that was the reason why, and when I went on a post or whatnot, so just let y'all know this ain't me talking in hindsight. But when I made my post, and what I was saying on the post was, this is gonna be the fights like he's gonna prove the naysayers wrong. Like people are going to put some respect on his name. And not more so because of his fighting style that it's going to change, but it's more so because of his opponent. And like I mentioned, his opponent is a high volume puncher. You know, he coming in, he getting busy straight up. And if you know a fighter like Shakur Stevens, they lick their chops off of this. You get what I'm saying? He's a defense specialist. You get what I'm saying? He like to capitalize on where his opponent do wrong. So, and it's like when we was talking about the same thing with if he was to fight Tank, like to me he's not a boring fighter. He's a technician, you know. And I guess like for the casual fan, he may be born because the casual fan want to see knockouts. You get what I'm saying? And they may not like go into depth like with things that go down in the fight that some of us watch look out for. You get what I'm saying? But it's like I say, man. I knew that it was going to be a good fight because of his opponent, and it's like Stevens is a fighter like this. You got a lot of fighters out there, man, and they pretty much fight with their hands. Stevens fight more so with his eyes and his brain. And what I'm saying is, he look for an opening. You get what I'm saying? He see his target, and it's things that make him an accurate fighter. When I say he fight with his brain, it due to what we call memory. You get what I'm saying? Like it working out, we talk about muscle memory. Things become second nature. You get what I'm saying? It's like he don't even much have to try to do certain things. It's going to come natural. What I was impressed mostly about this fight was him fighting in the Philly shell. You get what I'm saying? That's a technique, man. A lot of people try to imitate, but it's hard to do. And he was in that shell, and you could tell that it was more so a statement type of fight. You get what I'm saying? Like he knew he was going to win the fight, but it's like more so, I'm gonna do what y'all say I couldn't do. You get what I'm saying? And it was times he stood in the phone booth, you know, toe to toe with his opponent. And so, like I say, man, I think that, man, and I knew this was gonna happen. This is the fight that he was gonna prove a lot of naysayers wrong. People was gonna put respect on his name, and not saying, and I'm not gonna say all this fight is gonna be the same, cause like I said, it goes down to his opponent. But at the same time, man, when he's fighting against a dude that's gonna bring the fight, he's not running from it.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I noticed too about this in this particular fight. with Shakur that, like you said, he stood there and he traded punches with Cepeda. I think the only knock I will say about Shakur Stevenson, I think that's just now we all can just agree, he has no knockout power. He don't
Right.
have the power to take a guy and just knock him out. And then when you look at this fight, it was so many opportunities in this fight where you just felt like, man, he can knock this guy out, but he just don't possess that power. That's not nothing taken away from him, but it's just he don't possess that knockout power. But the guy,
Right.
I mean, every time he made every move, as far as the counters, he hit him on clean open shots, and he did his thing in the ring, man. So I mean, I just gotta say when he took that hit, and I think what round that was when he buckled, was like the
It
fourth
was
round,
early.
fifth. It was early
It,
on in the
yeah,
fight,
it was early.
and I mean, a lot of times fighters tend to like they see that power, they feel somebody's power. It's like you can either run, you know what I'm saying? You got a decision, you got to make a business decision, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And he stood on business, and I like that about Shakur Stevenson in this fight because we never saw that, you know what I'm saying? And I did think that was the biggest thing that I took from that. Now he was talking some stuff afterwards with the Tank and all that. I don't think he's ready for Tank yet, but I mean, when you just look at the grand scheme of things, I think he's showing himself that he's one of the top fighters in the world right
I'm
now.
a, and I'm gonna stand on what I said, and I said this months ago, right? I think if him and Tank fight, it go 12 rounds. I don't see Tank knocking him out. And like I say, this is not me talking in hindsight, just because out he's fresh off a win, impressive victory, by the way. You know, man, you had this conversation. I said this after his last fight. You get what I'm
Right,
saying? And and the reason why I say that because if like okay, for example, Tank does not throw punches in bunches. You get what I'm saying?
right,
He don't put out a lot of punch output. You get what I'm saying? Like
right.
Cepeda do. So you know he pretty much look for that opening. He find that open because he can take a punch, but he's going to look for that opening. When he landed, it's night night. It's gonna be hard for him to find that punch against Stevenson, man. You get what I'm saying?
I get what
Somebody
you're saying.
that's
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
right.
So it's gonna be hard. Not saying that he can't, and not saying that his punches will not have an effect, but it's gonna be hard to find. It's gonna be hard for him to find that opening. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I think that moving forward, I think Stevenson and there's been rumors about this. I think his next opponent gonna be man, what's the guy name is man? Floyd Schofield.
Okay.
You know, Floyd Schofield dad got online. You know, he went on his little rant and everything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So he's saying, man, Schofield got more power, which he does. His last fight against Tevin Foreman, he destroyed him. He destroyed him.
Yeah.
So I that's pretty much his going to, and I think that if he fight him, that fight will
Right.
draw the viewers that he's looking for. It
Right.
may not draw the numbers that he won't like, that he would like, fighting Tank. But I think that fight will do numbers though.
Yeah, I thought this fight did numbers. I think a lot of us just wanted to watch this fight. I mean, now we knew what the main card was, and we're gonna talk. We can start talking about that now. If you're going to the Baraka, I always mess his name up.
Belonga.
Yeah, I thought you know that main event, being in that it drew, him being the undercard in that co-main event, we're gonna call it. I thought it did well, but to talk about that main event fight, man, I was shocked, man. I didn't think that he was gonna get. I mean, he got dominated. I mean, he got his ass whooped. Let's just call
Right.
it what it is, man.
Yeah,
He
he
talked
got
a
he
lot of
got ahead
trash,
it too.
man, like what he was gonna do, and that guy, they took it to him.
Yeah. And that was an impressive victory or whatnot, man. That was actually my first time watching Shiraz fight. And I'm gonna be paying more attention to him, fights to come. I was mad I missed David Morrell. I didn't think he was gonna fight because it was something came up due to like I forgot what they called it though, but it was the same thing that was found in it was same supplement found in what they found in
Garcia,
your boy Garcia, yeah.
right, right.
It was either the same or something similar. And I don't know if he fought the same guy or did he fight another opponent, but he did fight. And I wanted to see him because, like I say, him against David Benavidez, man, I still got that as my fight of the year. that him and David Benavidez they put on display, and I haven't seen them. And it was some good fights. You got Tank and Roach. The fight we just it's been some good fights, but I think that fight was the best fight I seen all year.
Okay. I mean, I gotta say for now, that I feel like the Tank Roach fight was a good fight.
Yeah, of course.
So far, I thought that was a good fight this year. Um, what's the other guy? It was a heavyweight guy that fought. Was it what come to my head? And I thought that was a good fight. Not Anthony Joshua. Uh, one of those guys, heavyweights. Forget the name, but overall, man, when you just look at this overall card, man, I thought the card for these fights was
Oh,
pretty
the
good.
card
Now,
was
like I
lit.
say, Stevenson, showed what he made of. Suarez, he shocked the world. And watching that fight, and I was talking about this earlier, man, with that Suarez I always mess
Berlanga.
his name Berlanga fight. Yo, I feel like I give Crawford more of a shot now because Baranga, he did hang in there with Canelo, and
Right.
then to watch to see him like get dominated the way he got dominated in this fight, it makes me think, Crawford got a chance, man. I still think Canelo gonna win that fight, but I give Crawford. I think he can do it.
It's been more people trying to selling me on Crawford, man. I want to see Crawford win. That give me something to talk about. And it's been a lot, and I'm not just talking about like casual fans. I'm not just talking about people that analyze things, and do analytics, but we don't, we haven't fought off. I'm talking about actual boxers. You get what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So, and they feel like Bud is gonna win hands down. You get what I'm saying? Um, I think it's gonna be closer than a lot of people think. I think it could be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think Bud know he got to take the fight to him. I don't think it's gonna be no running. And truth be told, I don't think it's all just about a check for Bud. I think Bud actually trying to win this fight. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think he do. I think he want to win this fight, go out on top. He want to be one of the guys mentioned like Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about boxing, and how he dominated the sport, and I think Terrence Crawford want to be one of those guys too. But before we get off the boxing topic, I do got to ask you about the back and forth between Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones. I'm not sure if you're tracking them now.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, you know what I'm saying? What's your take on it? And do you think was Roy Jones out of pocket or was Mayweather out of pocket in this situation?
Talking about I'm gonna say this, man. When it come to talk, when you talking about let's look at it in a different sport. Let's just talk about football, right? Okay, you got a corner and you got a receiver, and they going back and forth. I don't care what age they is. They gonna always say I would have did this. And we see it with Chris Johnson and Ocho Cinco. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? As of right now, two players that has retired from the sport. So it can get to a point where you be like, well, you want to find out? You get what I'm saying? Now it's just boxing. This is hand to hand combat, and it's like it seems more out of pocket, but we have to remember this is a sport, and these guys have a competitive nature. So I can't say neither was out of. I say that they can take things. One may have taken something the wrong way, but to say I say when I say out of pocket, for me that's disrespect. If
Right.
a person just get disrespectful, but to just say if we're fighters, for me to say yeah I would have whooped you in my prime or I'd have did this to you. That to me that's not out of pocket. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I
So
think when
out of
I
pocket
look
is
at
when the
this,
disrespect come involved in it.
right, and I think too, man. I look at it the same way you look at it, Greg. Man, like I don't think neither one was out of pocket. I just feel like Floyd Mayweather might have got a little in his feelings because you know Roy Jones have an opinion. He has his own
Right.
opinion who he feels as if he think is the greatest, and he felt like Sugar Ray Leonard was being disrespected. And so he was like, hey, I think, Sugar Ray Leonard can take Floyd. But again, I just think everybody have an opinion. And I thought that, Floyd didn't have to do what he did and go over with the throwing all the knockouts and all this other stuff, man, on his face. Man, everybody got an opinion. But, we're going to move along, man. And we're going to start.
Florida's
Go ahead,
like
go
kind
ahead,
of
go ahead.
like the 50 Cent of boxing, you know what I'm saying? In
Right.
so many words.
He really is, dog. He petty, dog. He real petty. So we're going to segue into some WNBA talk. Let's talk about Angel Reese, man. Angel Reese, she's been doing her thing lately uh, in the WNBA, and she has been improving. I mean, over the last 2 weeks, man, her shooting percentages went up. She's still grabbing rebounds. Assists just went up a game, and she's playing a lot more effective. I read this Yahoo article, and she was just talking about how her playing in the Earl Hell that tournament, and working on her game with N- Natisha Collier or whatever, Natasha Collier,
Right.
say her name. I can
Yeah.
mess the names up, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me. And them working on their game in the off season has helped her. Now she did get off to a slow start, but I think this improvement is something that we can see moving forward in her career.
For me, man, it's one of them things that it don't come as no surprise to me. You get what I'm saying? You remember the last page we had, I did the video um
Jason
when I
Whitlock,
was,
right?
yeah, exactly, when I was talking about, like, how, like, people like the Jason Whitlocks of the world was kind of like too hard, real harsh on it because for whatever reason, you get what I'm saying. But and when I did the video, a lot of people came at me. You read the comments, a lot of
Right,
people saying this, but and the thing was that we had to understand that that was her in a rookie season setting records. And it was like, man, often, man, we want to make the comparison with her and Caitlin Clark or some of the other players and everything like that. And I think that was unfair to her. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like we hold her to a certain standard. You know, we holding her to somebody else's standard. You know what I'm saying? Instead of what we saw out of her already. You get what I'm saying?
right,
And so for her to set the type of records that she did in her first year, I found that it was impressive. Now she's scoring more, but and we already knew that she can play defense, as far as with steals and blocks. You know what I'm saying? She was a hell of a defender her first year. You know, we were just looking for her to finish, which I already knew she could do. That was going to come over time, finishing in the basket. You get what I'm saying? When you're playing under the rim, you tend to be, what I'm saying, over time, you're going to have a high field goal percentage, especially if you're grabbing boards, offensive boards. You're going to have a high field goal percentage. You get what I'm saying? So now she's finishing at the basket. But for me, what's more impressive is the number of assists. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So now she's not only that she's showing that she can score and play two-way ball. She's showing that she can play team ball as well. You get what I'm saying? And she done had some beautiful passes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that, man, we starting to see, over time, man, she's just gonna continue to evolve and get better.
Yeah, I do agree, man. I think one big thing I like about her is she's making more smart decisions with the ball. And I think early on in her career, and in the early part of this season, she just wasn't taking care of the ball. And now we are starting to see her play a lot better, take care of the ball, and killing the narrative that she don't make her teammates better. That's something that we've been saying, and to include me. I've been one that's been riding Angel Lee, so I got to be the first one to at least give her flowers when she's doing good. And she's showing me that another level of her game, man. And I gotta give her kudos for that, man. Now the Sky's still a bad team, and I think they still need to put some pieces around her in order for this team to be successful. But what she's doing with this team now, I mean, you got to tip your hat to her.
Right, right. Yeah,
So,
yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of. Like I say, man, she it ain't like I say, man. I knew she was gonna go get better. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Finishing under the rim and everything. You see it with the layups and everything. She also is finishing better in transition. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And not just grabbing rebound. I'm talking about her transition. She's finishing also. So that's another thing to watch for.
Yep. Also, too, I mean, not just finishing at the rim. I think also too she's developing a little, not a jump shot, but she's developing like outside little midi game. She's starting to develop,
Right.
and I mean, it's not perfect, but it's getting better. Her mid range is getting better, and I like what they're doing over there and how they've changed the offense and changed the way they're playing her, not just keeping her down in the post. I'm saying they got her moving a little bit, and I think that's helping her out a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how the Sky finish the rest of the season. I don't know if they can make a run and get in the playoffs, but I think she could do something as like be most improved player maybe. I don't
Right.
know if they got that
Well,
award
they had,
in
you
NBA.
know,
I mean, in WNBA, she could definitely get that most improved.
I may have to research this, but I seen something saying that like they was saying that how she was like they had her third in the MVP
I
race.
saw that though. I didn't want to believe it, but
But
I seen that too. But I was
right,
like, they gonna give her MVP. I was like, maybe most improved, maybe. I
they
wouldn't
say
go
she
as
was
far as
third.
MVP, but
Yeah, they
hey,
say she
it's
was
the
third.
WNBA. It gotta, it's different from the NBA, and I wouldn't think
Right.
they would give a team that's in a losing record, somebody MVP on the
But
team. But
I
I don't
don't
know.
think they would give it to her, but at the same time, it just like, she's in that conversation just to acknowledge the type of season she having. But I don't think she's gonna win it. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So let's segue into some college football, man. Let's talk about college football in the state of Florida, man. Um, you know, these guys, man, and I mean, before I even came on, man, I had some Gator fans talking mess about, you
I'm about
know,
sick of these Gator fans,
I
man.
know, man, I'm about sick of them too, man.
I'm gonna start blocking them. I'm gonna start getting their account banned in a minute.
So, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk about the big boys of the conference. Now I know you on the screen you see here you got FAU and South Florida and other teams. We're not gonna talk about them, but if you want to talk about them, Greg, you want to chime in, you can. But I know for me, man, I'm gonna start with Florida State. Florida State is in an interesting spot this year, man. Spring we haven't really been talking about them too much. We know what type of season they had last year. They had some transfers come in, got a dude in Castaño, who wanted to play for originally with Florida State before he went to Boston College, and he been talking a lot of trash for their upcoming game against Alabama, and saying that hey, basically this Florida State team we gonna shock some people. I'm like, I like to hear that confidence, but for me, man, I gotta see it, man. I mean, we had confidence in Florida State last year, taking DJ Ugle, and we had a lot of talent, experience, and we seen the record that was. I think Mike Norvell is on the gun this year because he develop a quarterback. It seemed like he can't develop no quarterback, man. So I'm like, if, and then to fast forward with that too, you know, this season's gonna be very important for Florida State because 2026 they got a good recruiting class, but we seen the other recruiting class that we had the 2010 season how that recruiting class fell apart. So we gotta have a strong season in order to keep this class intact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely agree, man, because that's how we've been losing a lot of our transfers, man. You know what I'm saying? By having these bad seasons and people, transfer or not just people decommitting. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, over the last, what, 5, 6 years, man, when we had only one 5-star recruit,
Right.
that stayed in Hakeem Williams, the receiver, and he haven't did nothing yet. He haven't shown. And so I think the main thing is developing the quarterback position, like you just pointed out, because that says a lot. Now, I will give Norvell credit. Jordan Travis, he ended up going from, looking like a runner to an actual quarterback. You know, we don't have him anymore. We got to move on. Now, I also would say with Tate Rodemaker, when I watched Tate Rodemaker the first 2 seasons, he was straight garbage. Every time he got in the game, he threw the interception. from the All American game, which I don't know how he was in, to his first year. But as time went on and Jordan Travis got hurt, we seen a better Tate Rodemaker, you know. But he wanted to start, so he moved on. But like outside of that, like I say with the quarterback position, I feel like McDuffie, the other guy, man, I feel
AJ
like
Duffy.
yeah, I felt like these guys were supposed to have been ready. You know what I'm saying? Coming into your second season of collegiate football, you're supposed to be ready. You know, so whether it's on the quarterback or it's on the coaching, not having these guys prepared, and we got a new offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Gus Malzahn. So it definitely have high expectations for this team. Not championship admirations or whatnot, but I think that this team should be a whole lot better in developing these players, considering the coaches that we have brought on. So like I say, man, we definitely have to improve, like with developing our quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? They has to be ready. And I'm not talking about just transfer guys, but guys we bring in.
Facts. That's facts. I think that's the biggest thing that's hurting Florida State right now is development.
Yeah.
Um, and they do got a new coach, and he a former Jaguar. Terrence Knighton is on the defensive
Pot
staff.
roast.
I want to say yeah, pot roast. So I think he's on the defensive staff as well. If not, he might be the D coordinator, or maybe the D line coach, something like that. But I know he's on the Florida State staff. So again, man, to finish up on my thoughts on Florida State is I just think that this year, man, a successful season looks like about 7, 8 win team. I think it means more closer to 7, but I think we can get 8 wins this year. I think that'll be enough to keep the class intact and to build some momentum into the 2026 season, man.
I think, man, that first game gonna tell it all, man. You know how we play against Alabama, whether win or lose or whatnot. You got to get out there and stand on business. You know what I'm saying? It can't be one of those, you know, where it's like when they get into the second half, these people, they resting their starters and everything. It can't be a game like that. And for the dude to come and make that comment, man, what is Thomas Castellano?
Castellano, yeah,
For him to make that comment, and I don't, I'm not against it. I'm for it. But coming out there, you got to stand on business. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Florida
I agree.
State, and with a program like Florida State can sit over the last couple of years, it's a target on us. You know what I'm saying? Not more so a target for it's like we're the team to beat, but for scrutiny. You know what I'm saying? You got to think that they look at us, they say we cry baby because we cry because we didn't make the national champion, we didn't go into the playoffs or whatnot. You
Right.
know, then we follow behind that with a season where wasn't even bowl eligible. You know, so now we coming into this season right here. So now what I'm saying. We have you got a lot of eyes on us, like what they gonna do now? What are they crying about? What the fuss is about? You get what I'm saying? Although a lot of people is comparing apples to oranges because you can't, you know, we was upset about what I'm saying, the season prior, not last season. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's a whole nother story. So, but I think that I say that to say this is definitely got to be a lot of improvement. You know what I'm saying? It got to be some improvement made.
Yeah, it do got to be some improvement made, man. And I just hope that I just hope we have a winning season, bro.
Yeah.
I can't go
I'm
through another
drinking out my
season like
Florida
this.
State cup now. Damn, what
Yeah,
that?
man.
Oh,
We only had 2 winning seasons in the last 7 years, dog.
yeah.
That's bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? I never think to see we almost go a decade with only 2 winning seasons, bro. So, like I say, Mike Norvell is on the clock, man, and we gonna see what he do. But let's talk about somebody else in the state down the street and down the road in Gainesville. These guys been talking a lot of shit this offseason. I mean,
Oh, they.
they've been talking like, oh man, we like they just got they shit don't stink. And so for you Florida fans, I think last season was the most I talked about Florida, gave them props because they had a tough schedule last year,
Oh
and
yeah.
they shocked a lot of us. I didn't think none of us thought they would win 5 games last year. For them to go and play the way they played last year, and the way they finished the season last year, there's a lot of high expectations on Florida this year too. They knocked out the transfer portal. They got a lot of good guys. They had a good recruiting class. So I'm expecting Florida to win the SEC. The way they Florida fans talking, they talking like I'm telling them, y'all better win the
I'm
SEC
definitely,
this year. I'm
I'm
talking to all
definitely
you
not
Florida
expecting to
fans.
win
You
the
better win
SEC.
the SEC this year.
Hey, check it right. Last year, you know, we had a lot of humble Florida fans. So it was actually fun, covering Florida, you know what I'm saying, at times cheering for them, because it gave us something to talk about.
Right.
But now y'all get beside yourself, you know what I'm saying? You're smelling yourself, you know what I'm saying? And pipe down a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, man, you still got a hard schedule. Do not come in this season with the big head. You played well beyond expectations. You know what I'm saying? I felt like your head coach was on the hot seat. I felt he did a great job of coaching last year. You get what I'm saying? And not just with DJ Ladd, but with both quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but at the same time, I understand it. You know what I'm saying? You got your chest poked out. That's all good. You feel what I'm saying? But man, listen, lose to us and watch. You know what I'm saying? Watch where that energy be at. You get what I'm saying? Because enjoy while I here, cause I'm gonna talk my trash. When I'm up, you gonna hear me. So you know what I'm saying? Do what you do. But
Yeah.
boy, listen, you know what I'm saying? Do not come, listen, do not come to Tallahassee and get belt the ass. You know what I'm saying? What we play this year?
I think we
No,
play
no,
them in
no, no. We
Gainesville this year.
playing
They can't.
Florida.
We play
We
in Florida
playing
this
in
year.
Gainesville because Miami got to come to Florida State. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, hey, we'll beat you. We last time we played you in Gainesville, we beat you. So we definitely not scared to go in Gainesville and play. That's for sure.
For sure, man. And I just think these Florida fans, man, you know, they kicking us while we down, which is fine. But
Oh,
y'all better deliver, like Greg said. Y'all better deliver, because I'm talking about, you know, y'all got in week 4, and we gonna segue to this next team that I want to talk about, the Miami Hurricane,
I'm
because
gonna say this before you go. Like with Florida fans, Miami fans, please kick me while I'm down because when I'm up, I am not gonna spare you. You know what I'm saying? I
for
might
sure, for
cheer for
sure,
you on the low, but I'm gonna talk trash against you. I'm gonna talk about you like a dog. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna spare you. So go and get it out the way. I'm embrace it. I'm down right now. You get what I'm saying? But boy, listen. When I'm up, when I'm back up, I am not going to spare you. So go ahead and get it out.
for sure, man. I mean, they just better enjoy it, man. Because I mean, right now, like my boy gonna talk about, oh, I ain't seen no Seminole fans post all. I ain't seen them post all year. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We in hibernation right now, but y'all better
we
win.
we
You better
being
win.
humble
You
right
better
now.
win, bro.
We
You
being
better
real. We
goddamn win.
humble right now.
For sure, for sure. So let's talk about them damn Canes, man. You know, a lot of these boys hyped up. They got the biggest quarterback in the transfer portal. They got Carson Beck. They did some good things in the transfer portal. Mario Cristobal, you know what I'm saying? Looking like, this Miami team ain't gonna take no drop off from last year. Me personally, man, when I look at this Miami team, I think they got a bill of goods, and they got a bad bill of goods in Carson Beck. He lost his job over there in Georgia. He wasn't going to start this year. You know what I'm saying? The other guy beat him out. And I don't see this guy being like a Jalen Hurts where he can go to like Oklahoma and shine. I don't think he that good of a quarterback. You get what I'm saying? So I'm looking like more like it's gonna be like DJU now, not with the record, not saying with the record, but more like DJU in the sense of he's not going to live up to the hype that we think he is. I think this Miami team got hoist. They gave him all that NIL money, and I don't think he's gonna live up to it. He down in Miami with his girlfriend, and I don't know if he's gonna have that same focus that he had up there in Athens.
I'm going to say this for Miami. I think it was a good pickup, but the amount of NIL money that he's getting and everything like that, he's going to be overhyped. He's a quarterback. They need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely not Cam Ward. He's definitely not Cam Ward. Um, we have to understand this too, man. The weapons that they had over there in Georgia, you definitely do not have that in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Um, I still think Mario Cristobal could be on the hot seat. I think Cam Ward saved his job last year. You know, if nobody couldn't see that this dude's supposed to be on the hot seat, we're not watching the same game. We're watching two different teams. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching Miami, Florida. They're watching Miami, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? You know,
He said
but
Miami, Ohio.
yeah, I guess that's what they're watching. But like I say, man, and even with last season, right, they had an impressive season. I still think they left a lot out there on the table, though. You get what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yes. Oh,
They left a
absolutely.
lot out there on the
They should
table.
have. They should have been in the playoffs last year,
Yeah,
Miami.
definitely in the
We ain't holding that over
ACC.
them.
In the ACC, they should have been in the playoff. And this is why. And this is why. I'm more critical of Mario Cristobal than the coach at Florida.
Mike,
I can't think.
no,
Huh?
Billy Napier.
Yeah, this is why I'm more critical of Mario Cristobal than Billy Napier. Um, Miami did not have a tough schedule. You get what I'm saying? I mean, the toughest games they had, I guess you could say, well, we thought it was going to be against us, Florida State, but we was a bad team last year. You could say Clemson, but you know, you losing some of the teams that you're losing to. It's like, man, what are we doing? And then it was a couple of close calls as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Florida, on the other hand, they had a tough schedule. Florida had a tough schedule. You get what I'm saying? It's like and me and you said this. If they are a team that's bowl eligible, we're going to give them their props. And we did that.
And we
You know what I'm
did. And
saying?
we did.
And it was times we was cheering for them. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But like I say, man, to me, Cam Ward was impressive. But when we talk about the U team as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you know, I like Xavier Restrepo. I like what I seen out of him, of course. But when we just talking about the Miami team as a whole, I was not impressed by it. And it's not no hate. But I would say this: take away Cam Ward from that team. You know what I'm saying? Cristobal we're looking at him as a whole different coach right now. We're looking at Miami as a whole different team. So I don't think that just because they bring in
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck that we're going to see the same Miami team. You know, it may not even be close to that. You know, so I'm not, you know, at the same time I think they probably be a better team than us, but
Now I will agree with that. I
you
will agree
know
with that.
we don't know what to expect out of us. You know, we don't know what to expect.
Right.
But I would say this, like, you know, outside of Clemson, they should be the second best team in the ACC.
Yeah. And I mean, you got some other teams in the ACC. I think that might be good. Let's see what SMU do. No,
And
with
and it's like, man, for some Miami cannot get out their own way. Miami have not won since being in the ACC. They have yet to win an ACC championship. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And you think about teams that it's like, okay, like even with us on the having seasons that we're on the decline, or Clemson. You get what I'm saying? Like to not even I don't even did they even play for the ACC championship
they played in the ACC championship one time. I think it
against
was in 2017. They played against Clemson and got blowed out. I
right.
think that Trevor Lawrence year.
Right. So
Yeah,
and it's the thing, like, man, they done had teams where it's like, man, you expect it's gonna be Florida State and Miami. It's gonna be
right,
Florida State. You know what I'm saying? We have had multiple years like this, and they haven't showed up. Well, we had
right.
years we haven't showed up either. But we have
Facts.
it's not about us. We have multiple ACC championships. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that you know Miami has played below expectations since being in the ACC. You know what I'm saying? We have yet to see the matchup between Florida State and Miami playing for the ACC championship.
Yeah, we haven't. And I mean, with the money they're giving Carson Beck for that NIL deal, they better be in the ACC championship game this year. I mean, I don't. They got to, man. I mean, they got a lot of talent on this Miami team, but again, like you said, bro, Cristobal going Cristobal. His coaching, I don't know what it is about that guy, but that's the wild card. What you gonna get from Cristobal? I just think
Right.
that when you look at this Miami team, bro, that Carson Beck is not gonna be the guy that they think he is, and he's gonna disappoint them. I think they still win about 7 to maybe 8 games, 9, 10 if they Cristobal don't get in his own way. But I can see this team being like a 7 to 8 win team with Carson Beck.
All right.
Now I do want to mention too on this other state of Florida map of these teams. I want to salute Willie Simmons Jr. or Willie Simmons, I think it is. He was family old coach. Now he's coaching at FAU. First year HBCU coming over to be in a Power Five school. I'm hoping this guy do well. And then Scott Frost went back to Central Florida,
Central
UCF.
Florida.
He went back. So let's see what he doing his first year back. They let Gus Malzahn actually obviously became our offensive coordinator. So you know
Right.
what I'm saying. So he's back at Central Florida.
Gotcha.
So so any final comments on the college, Greg? All right, so we're gonna roll into our last topic of the night, and we're gonna talk Big 12 preview, man. For me, man, it's one of those things where I really don't try to get too excited about the about this right now because it's still a lot of what ifs. We can't really talk about it until these guys actually start playing. But when I look at this conference, man, it's a wide open conference, man. I mean, there's not really a for sure favorite in my opinion in this conference. Now, a lot of experts think Arizona State, Kansas State are the two front runners, but I can see a team like Utah, who's coached very well under Kyle Williams. People forget Cam Rising coming back for like the 7th to 8th season. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna be back in the fold. Um, and then you got people raving about Texas Tech this year in the Big 12, saying that they could be a sleeper team with all the transfer guys they got with all the guys they got coming back. So they saying that Texas Tech could be a team. Hell, even Baylor. I mean, how they started the season off last year, finished off strong, kind of like a Florida, but not as Florida how Florida did. And they could be. So, I'm not even going to talk about Coach Prime and all that because I think he got a whole set of issues dealing with the health. Hopefully, his health is stay good the whole season. And he got all his main guys left this year, last year for the draft. So I don't think Colorado they can just even be bowl eligible. I think will be a success for Dion this year. But Greg, what's your thoughts on the Big 12?
Um, Man, you brought up Cam Rising, like, man, and like year after year, man, I have high expectations for Utah because of Cam Rising, because I think he's a good college quarterback. I think he was one of those players that he could have actually won the Big 12 for them. But it's every year it's the same thing, issues with him staying on the field. So I don't even know how to look at that with Utah right now. You get what I'm saying? Um, the Big 12 is always a wide open conference. It's like, and I would say like, man, pretty much like Colorado pretty much brought the excitement to the Big 12. You know what I'm
Yeah, they
saying?
do.
Because growing up, most of us was you had a lot of us that was Dion fans. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And so that pretty much brought the excitement there after schools like Texas left, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So, with that, it's like, man, you don't have, it's nothing consistent over there to look at because these guys are constantly moving and you have the transfer portal. But I think that you can start looking at schools like UCF because of Scott, like you just mentioned, Scott Frost. And we know that, man, when you got players, man, in the state, it's a lot of speed. And we know that when you look at the when you look at how the Big 12 is structured, it's a lot of scoring, it's a lot of fast pace. So it's a lot of speed over there. You get what I'm saying? And when you got and that's right up Florida alley. You know what I'm saying? The state of
right.
Florida, that's right up our alley, when you're talking about for speed. You know, it's not a lot of power football over there. So I think that would benefit a school like UCF. You know what I'm saying? Having those Florida boys over there playing. Not saying that you don't have it in Texas. You get what I'm saying? Because we done seen it with schools like Texas Tech. But I think one of the big things is over there, we done seen what Scott Frost was able to do at a program like UCF. And
Right.
I think that that would benefit him being back at UCF.
Okay.
He's
Now I do
he's
got
one of those
I
schools. He's one of those. So UCF is one of those schools that I'm watching out for over there in the Big 12.
okay. And I want to see what Scott Frost do as well coming back because he didn't have a successful stint at Nebraska. It didn't work out there, and I thought just Nebraska, man, it was. I don't think it was a good fit. I think what he was trying to do there, but I do think he can have success. He had success there. He did bring them they on the undefeated season there, the year that we thought they were saying it was the controversial year. So
Right.
I think he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder, man. I'm interested to see how UCF finish. But let's talk about Coach Prime for a minute, man, and his thoughts on what he said at the Big 12 press conference. For me, man, I think going into year three, man, I really want to see they got this is gonna be their first time me watching Coach Prime, and he's gonna open up against an ACC opponent, a team from the South in Georgia Tech. I think this is a good opponent for Coach Prime in the first game of the season. This is gonna say a lot about this Colorado team, man, going into that first game. And Coach Prime, he made his little comments about, hey man, they need to put a cap or, it's not fair, the NIL, man. But I just think that, this is what you guys wanted, man. I mean, player empowerment. I think you was part of that movement of player empowerment and getting these guys paid. Your son, Travis Hunter, everybody, NIL and everything like that. So I think this is a product of it. You got to deal with it now.
I think it's more so like when he made that comment, it wasn't for to more so with the elite guys, but the guys that's like low tier guys that getting paid a lot of money. Like we just talking about with Carson Beck. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? That it's like, well, God damn, they paying them that much. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's like you have to pay these guys so much money that you're not even willing to pay them to come at your program. Now, at the same time, now to counter that, I would say this, like, you can never put a price on what another player worth to with another program. You get what I'm saying? And,
right,
and if the market may say one thing, you know what I'm saying? But we know owners go, like and this it just is me talking like NFL, you know what I'm saying? The market may be one thing for a player, but we know that to that owner, this player can be overvalued or whatnot. He would have more value, see more value in this player. Just look for example for the Jaguars, for instance. We have overpaid a lot of players over the years.
right.
Now, I'm not saying that it was wrong, but it was more so because we had to. You know what I'm saying? But the market probably wasn't set for that player at that rate. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be the same thing with collegiate ball as well. You know, you're going to have players that's overvalued. You're going to have players that just because their market value is set at a certain price, you know, colleges is going to be willing to pay them more because they may need him. They may see him as like, man, we need a player like that. You get what I'm saying? So you got to think, to certain players, a 3-star is a 4-star. A 4-star is a 5-star. But to the programs like the high, the top tier programs like Alabama, a 5-star is a 5-star, a 4-star is a 4-star. And some 5-star to them is considered a 4-star because they're a program like Alabama. You get what I'm saying? They are able to get the cream of the crop. But for a program that's not able to, a 2-star can be, you know what I'm saying, can get paid like a 3-star and so on and
I get
so
what
on.
you're saying. And I didn't look at it like that, you know what I'm saying? But you do make a great point of that's how he might have been looking at it. And I just think that, uh, you know, when you getting to paying these players and things like that, you know, now you open up Pandora's box. And I think when you
Oh,
look
of
at the
course.
NCAA now, is how do you manage it? Now they have passed rules and things like that where they're trying to like centralize it, but it's still in courts. I don't think nothing is really finalized yet. It's still going through the legal process. But yeah, I understand what Dion coming at if he coming at from that angle. But expectations for year three grade of Colorado. What do you think? You think he can make it to a bowl game this year?
I would say this, right? They did end up getting a top tier quarterback, right? You get what I'm saying? But they lost a lot. We always have to take that in consideration. Now I also got to look at what he was able to do year one with the players he had. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, they was up 1 minute, then they went down. And I think, man, due to being in the Big 12, I think they can still be bowl eligible. But I also got to look at the fact that they lost their whole receiving core. They lost their
Right.
quarterback. You know, that's going to take a knock. You know, I don't care how good a coach is, but when you lose talent on that type of talent, it's going to take a toll on your program. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Right.
So, so now not knowing the type of players that you're bringing in, that's going to leave question marks. Somebody said this though, man, and it made sense to me. They say that, man, it's a good thing that Shador leaving Colorado because they feel as though that you're going to see a better version of Dion now that he's not coaching his son, and it's the same with Shador. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I actually agree with that.
yeah, and I say, well, dang, it makes sense. You get what I'm saying? I think that's possible. You get what I'm saying? It's like they saying that because whether we're conscious of it or not, and this is what they was basically what they were saying, and that whether we're conscious of it or not, that having a son that on the field or it's like having a relative in business. Sometimes that can be a handicap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can be a bias there. Sometimes it can be, you can tend to get stagnant or what, things of that nature. Me, if I, and because we want to see, the people that we love, that we know we growed up and watched, that relatives, we want to see them do good. Sometimes it may not be the case or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
agree.
so we're looking at that situation. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Colorado moving forward.
Yeah, man. And I don't think they sold on the quarterback yet. I heard they still got a quarterback battle between Caden Salters, the cat that transferred from Liberty.
Right.
And then you got the quarterback they brought in. What's the dude from California that they brought in? He was a top quarterback.
One of the top recruits,
He was
right?
one of the top recruits. I forget his name, but yeah. So they still battling. I think the biggest hole, like you said, is at the skill position, man. And can this quarterback group, who they can they get a quarterback and figure out that they're leaning towards the freshman starting. But I mean, even if you have Kate Salters coming in, he coming in from what? Conference USA. Can he come in and be a quarterback and play power four, power five ball? I don't know. Defensively, I think that's what's going to be their strong point this year. Honestly, with the
Colorado.
defensive head, the guy they had, defensive coordinator, they didn't lose him. He stayed. I think their defense is going to be a lot better this year, and I think that's what's going to be the tipping point for this team. Like they're going to lean on their defense more this year. Last year was the offense. You get what I'm saying? There was an offensive led team. You know what I'm saying? Shador, Travis Hunter. They that's what kept them in games. But I think this year it's going to be the other way around. I think the defense is going to be the one that's going to be keeping them in games.
Right.
So we're gonna move on to our last to our arrivals and departures, man. And I want to get started on the arrivals and departures. I got my arrivals and departures written down today, man. So let me pull my little sheet out. We're gonna start with the arrivals first. And you got any arrivals, Greg, this week?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and get this off the screen. All right. And so for my arrivals, man, Summer League hoops, man, my three top hoopers. And I don't know if you've been watching Summer League like that, man. You got Walter Clayton Jr. That boy been balling in the Summer League with the Utah Jazz. Man,
Right.
he's been doing his thing, and I think he's gonna be a nice little piece for Utah Jazz moving forward in the future.
I was hoping we picked them up.
Yeah, man, we went and got that boy Jason Richardson though. Yeah, and then the second guy from Utah Jazz as well is Flipper Powski. Flipopowski, he's another guy that's been balling. I'm talking about, man, he's doing his thing. I mean, these young guys are showing improvement, man. And then my last guy plays for the Philadelphia 76ers, and this dude is balling like, he balling like he ain't playing with no lights, no water. Like he come from that. VJ Hucumbi, I think that's his name. VJ. I'm gonna just call him little VJ.
Right.
VJ from the Philadelphia 76. Dog, his first summer league game, he balled out. Man, every time I'm watching this guy on the court, he hooping. And if I'm the 76ers, if they haven't already, I will pull a Cooper flag and pull him and don't play him the rest of the summer league.
Right.
And then my other uh arrival is all the youth football programs that played in national games over the weekend. I also want to salute Atlantic Sea Rays. I think it's the 6U, 8U team. They played up against Gainesville Unite. And they won in their game over the weekend. So I'll salute uh the Atlantic Sea Rays. And then
Oh,
MLB All Star this weekend. You got the home run derby. I hope your boy Ronald Cunha, he's participating in the home run derby. Hope he can
yeah, that's
represent for the
tonight.
A. It's tonight, right? Okay,
Yeah,
it's
home
tonight.
run
Yeah,
derby tonight.
yeah. That's who Ronald Cunha is. He will represent tonight.
Yeah, I be watching Raw. I be watching wrestling.
What's your rivals, Greg?
My rivals, man, I gotta salute all the kids, man, that's out of the area, man, the Jacksonville area, surrounding area, man, that got drafted, Jacksonville, Florida area, surrounding area. They got drafted in the draft last night, the baseball draft last night. It was about like I want to say, man, it was about I would say 5, 6, 7 kids they got drafted.
Oh, that's
You
what's
know,
up.
from our area. One was out of Fletcher. I think they mentioned Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
It was a couple of kids got drafted, man. So I can't think of all their names right now, but salute to all of them. You know who you is. Salute to you. You know, congratulations.
All right. So let's just say it went to the departures then, man. Let's talk about my departure, man. I gotta discuss the elephant in the room, and I'm just disappointed because these guys, man, this shouldn't have happened. Pull the picture up here real quick, and I'm gonna talk about it. Teddy Bridgewater, he got suspended by the Florida High School Sports Athletic Association because he gave money to his own team. He's paid for like physical therapy, Uber rides for the players, and this was all out of his own NFL salary. He paid for it. Now we know what they did to our hometown team, Reigns. They
Yeah.
walked the dog on them. But I say all that to say, man, shame on the Florida High School Association for what y'all doing to this man because he don't deserve it. And all he was doing trying to take care of those kids, man. He went Miami Northwestern. That's where he's from. So he taking money and technically he putting that back into the community, if you want to say that. And for you guys to suspend him for that, man, I just thought that was messed up. So Florida High School Association, you guys are y'all wrong for that.
Right, you got to look at it like it ain't like that he was trying to support a lavish lifestyle for these kids or paying kids to play for him. You know, kids already there, but you taking care of your own. It's no different than when coaches have pizza parties for their team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things of that nature, man. When you have the bus, hey man, I'm finna go pick the kids up. You should be allowed to do things for your players, man, to have like, show appreciation. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you, bro.
So like I mean stuff like Uber rides and stuff like that there, man, it shouldn't be a problem, man. Even if you put money in you gotta understand, man, a lot of these kids come from poor communities. A lot of
Facts.
these kids, man, don't have decent living facilities. You know what I'm saying? Um, Go through the daily struggles or you know what I'm saying, parents, working, can't afford certain things, So, man, some of this stuff, man, it's like I think they just get beside themselves, man, and just do it because they can, man. And it's like you're not understanding the situation, Sometimes, man, we can't be robots just because the law may say this. We gotta understand that the system have flaws in it too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because sometimes the law and the system don't actually understand what's going on, you know, in all communities, you know what I'm saying? They just want to prosecute. And so, you know, we have to get outside of that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And it's crazy about this whole thing because I actually talked to some other coaches about this, and I talked to a coach up in Niceville, and he was telling me a situation where his coach got suspended, and he said his coach got suspended because his son play high school ball too now.
Right,
He went to his son camp and he had I think a hoodie on or something like that. And they
wow.
fined him because they was like, "Are you trying to promote or something crazy like that?" And I'm like, "Come on, man!
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
crazy.
it's crazy. This guy's going to his son's camp. Like,
Right,
you know what I'm saying? He can't support his son. I just think Florida High School Athletic Association, y'all gotta revise this shit, man, because
right.
what y'all did to Bridgewood and what you doing to other coaches that's just trying to give back. I mean, it don't make sense. And then when you look at the budget, do they even set a budget for athletics for the school? I don't know. Somebody get in the comment section if I'm lying. I don't know, but I don't think they really set budgets like that for athletics. You know what I'm
And,
saying? So a lot of their money is through fundraising and the boosters and things like that.
and then the thing about it, this is not nothing that he has to do. That you talking about a professional NFL quarterback. That you know what I'm saying. If he go out there, he's going to get a job playing. You know, right after the season, he got a job. And not just being a backup, which he made you're gonna make decent money being a backup quarterback, but he can actually, you know what I'm saying, be a starter for some teams as well, like we
Right,
have already seen. So,
right,
like I say, man, man, like I say, man, I hope you know, we have to just, you know, expose the flaws that's going on in the system, man. You feel what I'm saying? And I hope something
right.
get done about it because I don't think he deserved to be suspended for that as well.
I agree. And my last departure of the night, man. And I'm gonna kind of keep this one brief because this one was real passionate about old school versus new school, the Civil War. I talked about this. I wrote about this week on my Substack article, and I wrote about it on my LinkedIn article. So if anybody want to check that out, check that out. And I talked about how there's a civil war going on in the NBA. People don't realize it. If you just think about when you look at Charles Barkley and Shaq, when they talk on the inside the NBA, how they talk. Then you talk to how the younger guys, how they view some of these older guys. There's not really a mutual respect in a certain aspect of it. They feel like, hey, the game is harder now versus the old school feel like, oh, you guys can't play in our era, and it just seems like there's a back and forth between eras, and it started when I didn't say started, but I think what ruptured over to me was when you got two of your top players in the league, like LeBron James and Kevin Durant, questioning Jordan's effort and his commitment. I thought that was real low of them to do that, but everybody have their right to opinion, Greg. But I'm gonna let you take off.
Um, it's like I say, man. You know, a lot of times, man, it don't be more so for the players that they attacking, but that's their way of defending their self. You get what I'm saying? So it's like their argument be more so with the fans or the people, you know, the media, people that you know make these posters and everything like that. There, so it's like it don't necessarily be with the, you know what I'm saying, but with the actual player. But that's how they defend themselves. You know, people Michael Jordan name is going to get used because Michael Jordan, like, just it's like I brought up with Tom Brady, and people thought I was hating on Tom Brady, but no, people going to use Michael Jordan name because he's the standard when it comes to playing basketball. You get what I'm saying? To even have your name mentioned in the same breath with Michael Jordan is an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's start there. So anytime something that goes on and you know we got let's be honest, did Mike do everything right? And some people's eyes Mike didn't do everything right. You know what I'm saying? Still the GOAT. But you know, some people going to look at it like, you know, when it's like just think about we look at like with fans or whatnot. When LeBron is getting crucified, first they gonna say, "Oh shoot, Mike did this, Mike did this." You know what I'm saying? And it's the same with Michael Jordan fans. And it's the same thing when you look at fans of other players as well. So, and like I say, man, I think it's more so of players want to defend themselves, and they're going to point to the standard and say, well, look at what this player did. You know what I'm saying? That if you're going to criticize me for this, you also got to use that measuring stick against this player as well. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And I agree. And I do think, sometimes the fans, we could be a little harsh on the players. But I do think the fans has always been there. They're going to always be there because
Right.
whether you know it or not, if the fans stop showing up, and this is where I think the new school players fail to realize, and I feel like the old school players, they understood this, is the fans pay our salary. They
Correct.
buy memorabilia, they go to the games, they support the team. If we just said, fuck it, we not supporting this shit, there
Right.
wouldn't be a product to sell. You get what I'm saying? So you have to
Right.
understand that I feel like you gotta accept what the fans take to a certain degree. Not
Right.
saying you gotta accept disrespect and things like that, but being critical, that's just part of playing professional sports. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
this generation are a little bit too sensitive to that. And I look at the older generation, I felt like they understood that assignment of, okay, this is what it is being a professional. And I think, when you just look at the way, I feel like the way competition is going now, sports competition, the kid the athlete these days want to take the easy route. I hate to say it. They want to take the easiest route. And I think, maybe if Jordan and Barkley, if they had an opportunity to take the easy route, they probably would have did too. But they didn't. I mean, it's just what it is. They didn't take the easy route.
Right.
So,
It wasn't no
and
easy
that's
route.
just saying.
Right. Like I say, man, you know how things it was more structured with things and whatnot back then. And it's not in me to talk bad about what's going on now, but it's like when I was telling you, when you look at how teams was built back then, players knew their position. You know what I'm saying? Like as good as Scottie Pippen was back then, and we know Scottie Pippen was better than, you know what I'm saying, than a lot of people give him credit for. Scottie Pippen never tried to outdo Jordan or try to outshine Jordan. He always played his role. And we know that Scottie Pippen was more than capable of carrying his team, you know what I'm saying, when in Michael Jordan's absence. It showed. Almost went back
Right,
to a championship. You get what I'm saying?
right,
But at the same time, when Jordan was there, he played his role. And a lot of times, a lot of players are not doing that now. You know what I'm saying? And that's a major issue. You know what I'm saying? A lot of players waited their turn. And I say that to piggyback when you said that, a lot of players take the easy route. Like we look at like with the transfer portal in college football and and collegiate sports. You know, if they not starting, they going somewhere where they can start at. You get what I'm
right,
saying? Now, for me, it's not always a bad thing, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like it can be at times. You get what I'm saying?
right.
Because you always gonna have certain players that's gonna give a movement a black eye. You know what I'm saying? Like some players I understood, like we just said, we was talking about LeBron James. When LeBron James moved to when he went to Miami. We understood why LeBron went to Miami because how things was going. But at the same time, when you have other players that was already at good teams and they go to other teams, you get what I'm saying? It kind of give the movement, the player empowerment, a black eye. You know what I'm saying? So now the whole thing get viewed differently. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree with that, man. I mean, I think you hit it on the head, man, with that, what you just saying. But I'm hoping that in the overall with this whole thing between the NBA, with new school, old school, that at some point they can come to agree and appreciate the game for each era. And there's no back and forth because you don't really see this in other sports, man. You really see it in basketball heavy. Now the NFL, they might have it here or there. Like we
Oh,
had
you
that
see it
one
in
incident
basketball.
where, but
They
basketball is real heavy. Because I think the last time we seen something like this in football, and it wasn't really a big thing. It was the new Giants rookie, the rookie linebacker wanted to wear Lawrence Taylor numbers. in honor of him. Lawrence Taylor was like, nah, fuck that. You can't wear 56. So, you know, but that just that. But I just saying the NBA is just a way like they do a lot, and I think that's what's causing the ratings to be bad in my opinion in certain aspects with the back and forth. But we could talk about that one all day, man. But we're gonna get up out of the show tonight, man. Any final thoughts, Greg?
Hey man, I thank everybody for rocking out with us, man. Even if you turn on for a few seconds, man, we appreciate the support. You know what I'm saying? On all platforms, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, IG, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Y'all watch from whatnot. Y'all check out our content. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. With that being said, it's your boy Joe,
This your boy Greg.
and we out. Peace.
Yeah.